welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin and it is Saturday, so it is time for my weekly roundup. My weekly roundup, what is this you say? It is where I go through my week in crafting. So we go through any works in progress whips or FOs, finished objects that I might have, and we just chit chat. It's fun, I hope. Who knows? So this week I've had a very strangely productive week. I have 5 finished objects for you, and I've got a couple of works in progress we're going to talk about. A couple have languished, and we'll chit chat about that a bit as well. So first things first, last week I was talking about this cowl. I was working on the Fairy Tales of Yesterday hat and cowl set from BagODay. So I had finished the cowl. Next up was the hat. It is complete. So the hat, I did do 2 extra rounds. I got to the 13th round where she stopped, and I tried it on, and it was kind of just above my ear, and I looked and I had, you know, just a bit of yarn left from the ball. So I said, I'm just going to go for it, see where this ends. It ended up at 2 additional rounds. So 15 rounds. I'm sorry, allergies. It covers my ears very nicely. I think this is going to be a great hat for me for next winter. So I'm very excited. This set will definitely be for me. The one thing I'm a little about is I used like a dark brown Bernat softy chunky tweed, and I think the stitch definition gets a little lost, but when you put it on, it's not that bad. But I'm not going to put it on because it is crazy humid in the house. So the high temperatures from last week have broken, but the humidity is stuck in the house, and especially in this room. So I'm not putting this stuff on. I'm sorry. So after I did that, months ago, I was watching Shannon from Shannon Talks Yarn. Hi, Shannon. And she had a similar type of yarn, and she recommended a hat pattern for it. So I went and, you know, all those months ago, I put the hat pattern on my to-do list, and I did it. So here it is. Again, you lose a little bit because of the darkness, but I mean, it's a lacy work. This is called like a chunky lacy beanie. So I did it exactly to pattern. It turned out, so it measures what she says, but I think I just need to admit that I have a big head and a small, nice little tight beanie is never going to work for me, but it is the cutest thing ever on Bingo. I mean, like, what isn't? But this looks adorable on Bingo. Fits her perfectly. So we'll go ahead and pass this on to Bingo. And I mean, it's a nice, like, top of the head beanie on me, and but it doesn't cover my ears or anything. And that bugs me in the winter. Like, I need to have my ears covered. We're in the Midwest. And Iowa is like the windiest place I have ever lived in my lifetime. So that wind bites. So you got to cover that. Okay, so then this took just under a ball of the Serenity softy chunky tweedy, whatever the heck it's called. So I thought I'd give a go at a scrunchie with it to use up what I had left of that ball. So here's a scrunchie on my finished object. It's a little warped, but that's okay. So then I was like, scrunchies, Rose like crochet. This month is scrunchies, decorative headbands, and makeup bags. But you're limited to 2 of each item per person. So 2 scrunchies, 2 headbands, 2 makeup bags. At least that's my understanding. Rose, if I'm getting that wrong and you happen to be watching, please let me know. But she's in Chicago. She's in bear country. I had a leftover skein of yarn from a hat that I made for a Bears fan. So I pulled that out and I made a scrunchie. And I plan on making 1 more scrunchie with this yarn. I'll see if I can get 2 decorative headbands out of it. And I'll ship those on off to Rose, because I'm gonna bet there's probably a few Bears fans that might be looking for these items. So that is 4 of my items. Oh, this one is gonna just, Oh, that's a Tweety. I didn't weave the end in. Nope, it's a brown Tweety sticking off. So that's that for the crochet finished objects. I finished my first full pair of knit socks. Oh, the scrunchies are just me experimenting. I didn't follow a pattern. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work, and I found a big thing of black elastic bands on Amazon for super cheap. My socks, these I followed the Crazy Sock Ladies. She has a tutorial on YouTube that is free, or you can pay on, I bought it through Ravelry. It's only $2 to get the written up pattern. And since I do this when the kids are asleep, I went ahead and got the written pattern from her on Ravelry. It's her vanilla sock on 9-inch circs, 9-inch circular needles. And here we go. I used some yarn I got from the Hobby Halloween. It's one of their sparkle. I believe this colorway was called Vampire's Kiss. I believe it was color 6. And it's in the sparkle version. It's so fun. I am so happy. They are skosh big. But I think a couple weeks ago, we figured out what my problem was. Her pattern calls for US 1 needles. I was using a 3, which meant my needles were a full millimeter larger than hers. And I think it would have been okay had I done the small socks, but I did the medium socks because looking at her sizing on the pattern, I would have been either at the upper end of the small size or the lower end of the medium. So I figured I'll just do the medium. We'll see how it works. So what I'm going to do is a second pair of socks now to experiment. But I am again not going to use the size 1 needle. The yarn I picked suggests a size 2, a US 2. So I'm going to use my US 2. This time I am going to make the small version, and we're going to see how that goes. I think it will be much better. But here we go. These aren't bad. I can wear these. They're going to be more like house socks. I'm not going to want to stick them inside a shoe or anything. But I am so excited. They're not blocked. Nothing like that. But yay! I'm so proud. I am pleased as punch with these. Okay, so now we're going to shift to works in progress. So my whips, I have 2 knit and 2 crochets to show you. So, I had mentioned that kind of my goal is to always have a bod pattern in the works. There's a couple of people where I just want to blow through and see how many of their tutorials I can do, how many patterns I can do. So bod is first on the list, and I've been steadily working through. So when I finished that, I was going to make another project, which tomorrow you'll see a video on that. But I had to switch gears really quickly because we found out a friend of ours is pregnant. So being a crafter, I have to make a baby blanket. You're going to see a little note in my video tomorrow because, so I recorded one video and then I had to do the addendum to it. And the way I was talking, it sounded like, when I watched it back, I was like, oh, does that sound like it's code that I'm pregnant? It is not me. It is a friend. We have the family we desire, and we're good. But others will still be having babies, and I can make blankets for them. So I am making the new kid on the block baby blanket, and I don't have a stitch marker stuck in this, or a progress keeper. Dangerous, but I'm only on row 2, so not super far along, but it's a start. I am using, so she uses a 4-weight yarn. We don't know what gender the baby is yet, so what is going on here? Do I have the wrong one? I do. Okay, whatever. I had 2 of these big ice cream big scoops. Bod uses a 4-weight yarn. This is a 3-weight and a bit of a thinner 3 in my opinion. So I basically used her multiple and made it longer. Mine is almost twice as long as her 71, to try to get a size I liked. And like I said, I've got 2 of these, and these are like 1,100 yards a piece. They're the big monsters. Yep, it's 1,117 yards. So I have more than enough to do a baby blanket. I should probably get a baby blanket out of 1, but she also uses a J hook of 6. This yarn recommends a 5, and I tested it and I really liked the fabric it created. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm using a smaller yarn, a smaller hook. So that's why I had to up my chain. And I assume, you know, at some point she always says, this is how many rows I did or how many repeats I did. I'm just going to go until it's the size I want, and then go from there. So I'll keep ya, you know, clued into how that progresses. Then let's do knit project. I have progress on my Twists and Turns MKAL. Finally, I have finished the 1 set of rays on the side. Look at that. It is on the waist yarn. Yes! I haven't picked up any stitches for the next one, but here we go. So this is the Stephen West MKAL that started in October of 2022. I am in part 2. That's looking wrinkly. That's okay. That's from being shoved in and out of bags. So yeah, I've got this part done. I have to do that on this side, and then I think, yeah, there's something, we're going to add something down here. Oh, that was Ollie. Scared the poop out of me. Yeah, so here we go. I am using yarn from the, I got off of Etsy from my independent dyer, Blackbird Sycamore Yarns, and it's their sock base. This colorway is Cleric, this is Cinnamon, and this one is Pink Jasper. There you go. I'm loving it. I love it. I'm having fun now. I got mired down in this section, but it's enjoyable again. Okay, let's go with, we did crochet, knit. Let's do the last crochet item. Progress is being made on my Boho bag that is going to be the giveaway for this month's Krafting Kitty Creator Spotlight, which is cinnamon stitches. Each month I make an item, and that is one prize. So basically what I need here is 3 of these big old granny squares. Then we're going to sew it together. Then we add the handle, and then we line it. I asked last week if people thought I should line it, and overwhelmingly people said yes, line it. So I will. Oh, last week I had shown it, and I also said I wasn't sure how many rounds I was going to do. I went with 12 because, as I said, it's a giveaway, it's a gift. So I want to make sure it's a nice big size, and that would be the bottom. So it goes like this, this, and then this, if you can picture that. So this will be a nice sized market bag for somebody. And then I am going to see how the strap looks. And after I see the strap, I'll decide if I want to line the strap. My gut says I'm going to end up lining it, but we'll see. I mean, maybe this is 100% cotton. I'm using Karen Cotton Funnel Cakes. And so it is a nice sturdy yarn. So we'll see. We'll see. You never know. Okay, final project. In my bag from Rita, this is Lina. I'm sorry, Rita. I'm sorry. Designs. This was part of the Paw Ply Yarn Company's Advent last year. You got the bag and all of the yarn that I'm using. Well, not all the yarn. I'm using the yarn, and then Brian got me kind of a neutral. I'm making a wrap called the Lamina Wrap. It is a paid pattern. I got it through Ravelry. It was around $6. But it comes with a wrap and a cowl version. I'm doing the wrap, and here we go. I got, so in the advent calendar, you got 1 full skein and then 24 minis. So what I'm going to do is, this is the full skein. I'm going to have the full skein bookend the wrap, and then day 1, day 2, I'm just going to, memorialize the advent in these stripes. And then there is a nice pretty lace pattern in between. So this is the main skein. This was day 1, day 2. I'm working on another lace repeat here, and then we'll keep going on. I had a question on a video, the Fridays with Fred video, about my needles. I learned to knit from my grandmother about 30 years ago, a little over 30 years ago. And at that time, I mean, you're young, you're not buying your own needles. So I used whatever grandma gave me. I still use much of that supply. These are one of the original boy needles my grandma gave me. My Fridays with Fred, I'm using the ChiaoGoo, where'd you go, needle? Oh, you fell. ChiaoGoo interchangeable needle set. I only this year, no, end of last year, started trying ChiaoGoos because the price scared me. And I was like, no way, they're worth it. They're so good. So I'm a ChiaoGoo convert. I will fully admit it. I like them. They are very nice. But when you're learning to knit or learning any new craft, I fully support getting an inexpensive tool to start. Get the red heart yarn to start. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna rip out. You're gonna get knots stuck in your yarn that you can't get out. There's no reason to be using hand-dyed wools for that process. So use the free needles you get from your grandma. Go get the aluminum straight boys if you want. I still use, before I started using the ChiaoGoo, I really loved the Clover Takumi bamboo needles for my circulars and for my other needles. But I still have a good supply of those. But yeah, I've got boy circulars. I've got these. So these are fun. These are from my grandma too. These are funny, bendy plastic needles. You can see the heat of my hand through use has bent them. These are old Hero. These are Hero knitting needles. Crystal opened something and she had found some plastic Heroes, or she was gifted a plastic Hero. Anyway, she was like, I had no idea Hero made plastic needles. So yeah, oh, here we go. Here, these are one of my very first circular needles. They're just the boy aluminum needles on the plastic that never loses its memory. These needles are probably a good 20 years old, and they're my size 10.5. That is one of my favorite knitting needle sizes because US 10.5, perfect for 5 weights or doubling up, which I have made many a blanket on this, many a baby blanket on this set of yarn needles. So yeah, I say try out a bunch, get the inexpensive ones that are easily accessible, easily obtainable from Walmart, from Michael's, from Joann's. And then if you decide, yes, this is the craft for me, luxury yourself out, get what you figure out what you like and go for it. That's one of the reasons for with my socks. I've got a bunch of different brands of sock needles that I'm going to be trying out. These I made with ChiaoGoo 9-inch circulars in the size 3. My next socks are going to be ChiaoGoo circulars on a size 2. But there I just want to see how it feels using the size 2 needle. I have size 1 needles. Oh no, I do. I've got a size 2 Clover Takumi bamboo that I'm going to try out. I've got a size 1 Knitter's Pride Dreams, which is a wooden one, which this one terrifies me because it looks like little toothpicks. But we're going to give it a try. Maybe it'll be my very favorite needle. You never know. I also have a size 1, US size 1 Haya 9-inch circ metal. This is stainless steel. I found in the small sizes, it's usually stainless steel. For my DPNs, for my sock DPNs, I've got all ChiaoGoo stainless steel DPNs. I read a lot of reviews about other ones, and a lot of them said they had like little imperfections and burrs. And when you're working with such a fine sock yarn, but yeah, anyway, none of that has to do with this wrap. So, yep, I'm using my grandma's needles. This is Paw Ply hand-dyed yarn from his advent calendar, from Daniel's advent calendar. This is some Madeline Tosh DK, excuse me, that Brian picked out for me at the local yarn shop. And I am loving it. I just had decision paralysis and I was like, hey, for a poor decisions, go to the yarn shop and find the yarn for me. He said, sure, sounds fun, and did it. So yeah, that's that with this project. The pattern does call for fingering weight yarn. I'm using a DK. I went up to size 6 US 6 knitting needle because that is what was recommended by the Madeline Tosh yarn, and I really like the fabric it's making. So I think that was a good choice on Mad Tosh. And that's really all I have here for projects to show you. I did finish that horrible bobble round on Sophie, only to discover that the very next round has horrible bobbles in it. And I am again floundering a bit, but I'm still working on it. I will get it done. It's just going slow at this point because I don't like bobbles. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan. Other than that, are there any other projects that are languishing that I haven't showed you? I think that's really it. Let me know if I'm forgetting anything. I mean, I know I have a sweater that I showed you back when the channel first started that I have not touched. So that hasn't been touched in like 8 months. And that's a sweater for Chomps that I started making. And then I got like 3/4 through the front part. And I realized I was not making a boy sweater, but I was making a man size small. And the urgency to finish that just went out the window. But I will get working on that. And I also have my temperature blanket from 2022 that I'm still working on, but you're not seeing either. Otherwise, on Thursdays, you're going to see the things we're making Thursday. And on Friday is when I'll show the Fridays with Fred cardigan. And that's that. Let's talk. I just saw it. Here it is. Grojo Corner Planner. Get yours on Amazon or from her website. Also check out her YouTube channel. Let's look at my monthly goals because we get to cross something off. It is the socks. So I actually went through and wrote out my monthly goals from April. Socks. The Greek Goddess Wrap, which is the things we're making Thursday. The Boho bag, which is the Cinnamon Stitches prize. I want to finish that new kid on the block blanket. And I have as my stretch goal to finish the Lamina Wrap. That is not going to happen. But we have to have stretch goals. Oh, and I also weighed all the stuff that I finished, but I totally forgot to write it down. It's on my phone, though. I think it's around... I think I'm at like 13.5 ounces about, maybe 13.3. Not bad. For having small projects done. I never weighed the cowl. Gotta weigh the cowl. Let's talk weekly goals. My weekly goals was to work on Sophie. So technically I worked on Sophie, but I did like one long side, one short side, but I'm taking it as a win. Check. Worked on my socks. Not only did I work on them, I finished them. Work on the Goddess Wrap. I worked on it. Work on the Boho bag. Done. Work on my BagODay project. Done. Okay, so book. I did read a couple of chapters, but I'm not going to... Sorry, I'm trying to rearrange on my table here, and I'm making a mess of it. So I didn't really grab the book to bring it in here. I just read like 3 chapters. I am reading... Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. It is the second book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, which starts with The Name of the Wind, which I finished not too long ago. And then in between, I read the book, oh my goodness. Oh, it's LVOE, so Love Misspelled, by the poet Atticus. That's that.